suffice it to say, if you are someone who is looking to become an owner-operator in 2023, or you're a lease purchase operator about to own your own equipment and strike out on your own, or you're a lease agreement owner-operator like myself who is about to strike out on his own, this is the reality you're looking at when it comes to insurance. Unless your CDL is over 4 or 5 years old, meaning you have 4 or 5 years or more of Class A CDL time, meaning you have held that license for greater than 4 or 5 years, regardless of your endorsements, you will be considered a high-risk insurance prospect by most insurers, including Century and probably a whole bunch of other companies. And the long and the short of it is that the best bet you're going to get, the best rate, the best price you're going to get is going to be with Progressive Insurance. That's just the way it is, as far as I am currently aware, because I've spoken with 2 different insurance brokers in the last 3 days. And both of them, after I gave them my information, gave them the rough estimates of what I wanted for cargo insurance, what I wanted to do with my truck and trailer for physical damage, as well as their values. The response that I got from both brokers is that the best price I was going to get was going to be to purchase a policy through Progressive Insurance, because Progressive Insurance was coming in essentially, well, let me specific, Progressive Truck Insurance was coming in one case, $20,000 a year cheaper, essentially, than another company I got a quote through. They were quoting me $32,000 a year for insurance. And having already gotten a quote from Progressive directly myself, and then had these 2 brokers go and shop around on my behalf, they came back and said, yeah, both of them to a T. Like, if you want this level of cargo insurance, I asked them to put in there $150,000 of cargo insurance, plus your $1 million liability requirements, physical damage, and also including discounts for holding an auto insurance policy, a personal auto insurance policy for more than 1 year, and if you choose to share data from your ELD system with Progressive, this is what you're going to be paying for your down payment costs. Because being a resident of the state of Illinois, Illinois law requires that commercial truck insurance is paid with 25% down payment for a 1-year policy, because Illinois is special. And essentially, Progressive came in somewhere in the neighborhood of about $12,500 to $13,000 per year, which is significantly better than $32,000 a year that I was quoted through another insurance provider. So, long and the short of it is, folks, like, it's entirely possible that if you speak to a couple different insurance brokers, you might find a different or better rate depending on your time in the industry, meaning you have had a CDL for longer than 5 years, you have a clean motor vehicle record, which I have a clean motor vehicle record, which is helping me as well. You can slow down here, make sure the 9th, good, just to make sure I can make these S-curves and switchbacks okay with no issues, because the roads are wet, and it is, even though it's well above freezing here in Utah, safety is better than being sorry, and I'd rather be slow and have people annoyed with me than try to overcook it and end up wrecked. So there we go. Anyway, Progressive is going to come in and, depending on the situation, depending on your equipment value, depending on your equipment type, what you're going to be hauling, what your mode of business is going to be. Like, my mode of business is going to be 53-foot drive-in, swing door, freight of all kinds, non-hazardous. And that couple that with my equipment's age, my clean MVR, and my to this point years of experience, that's the price I got, about $13,000 per year. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. But essentially around $12,000 to $13,000 a year for insurance, which, considering that a lot of insurance policies are going to eclipse $20,000 a year for all premiums included, or all the necessary premiums, or whatever it is you're going to be doing, Progressive will more than likely end up being the option you will have to go with to get your best, most economical rate. Now, I was asking one of the insurance brokers, okay, why is it coming back Progressive? Why is no one else looking at me with any kind of decent price for a policy? And he came back very honestly and said, well, it's because your CDL's not that old, and also, even though you have a clean MVR, even though you own your equipment and all this other stuff, you are still considered a high risk because you are a new venture. Even though this is your first time operating as a solo owner-operator, you're new. Like, you have no prior history of owning a business or operating a business. You have no prior history of owning commercial truck insurance. So until you have some time under your belt in those aspects, and your CDL gets a little older, and your motor vehicle record stays clean, then at that point, if you wanted to change away from Progressive, you'll probably be able to get more competitive rates at other providers. Okay, that's fair enough, and in a lot of ways, everything he told me made really good sense. And he also said, well, the reason that Progressive is willing to support and underwrite new ventures is because essentially they can afford to. Like, they keep $1 billion plus in reserve to pay out on claims. And this is what he told me, that the information, based on the experience that I've had with Progressive, unless there's an issue with something in a claim that they just will not cover, they will basically pay out. And I was very specific to ask, okay, what about issues regarding water damage, or freight getting wet because of a trailer that has a leak that wasn't detected previously, or if you load up in tropical Florida, if you go deliver in sub-zero Chicago, and your trailer's, the inside of your trailer's covered in frost, and then all of a sudden, it starts melting, and now you've got water dripping off your ceiling onto your cargo, and then they file a claim about that. Okay, what's the coverage for me? What is my option to protect myself and my money and my business? He said, well, I don't have that information for you directly right now, but I will get with one of the underwriters, and I'll pull that for you and try to send it over to you so you can read verbatim what their language is when it comes to issues with water damage. Which is good to ask about depending on where you're at or when you're at, because when I was researching insurance and checking reviews on different companies, one thing that came back is a lot of brokers will not book loads with trucking companies that operate with Progressive Insurance because of issues with failure to pay out claims for cargo damage. Now, the broker I spoke with this morning said, yeah, we did get a lot of pushback on that. The Progressive guys I talked to got a lot of pushback on that, and so according to what they've told me, they've made some adjustments in their policies to either be more clear on their language or to correct whatever the issue was, so that legitimate claims for water damage on freight would end up being properly paid out, rather than being the responsibility of the driver / owner operator to pay back on it. So still a lot of information I need to soak up yet about insurance and things to do with insurance, but essentially if I want to get a decent price and have my insurance cost actually go down from what I'm paying right now, my only option is Progressive. And honestly, I'm having a hard time feeling bad about that, because as long as Progressive is going to pay out if there is a claim, and as long as the brokers I seek to do business with will accept my Progressive started and I'm really rolling under my own authority here in the next, hopefully, couple of weeks, if not sooner. You know, when I start talking to brokers to do the new carrier setup packet, so I can just get that done out of the way early rather than having to call them on a load and do the packet and then all this other stuff when I'm trying to get the load picked up. I can ask them, okay, you know, what are your views on Progressive Insurance? What are your views on this? What are your views on that? So I can get some more information. I'll probably end up doing that a little bit before I actually decide to purchase my Progressive policy, just to see, okay, you know, with a 53-foot drive and swing door, you know, are you guys going to have a problem with me being with Progressive Insurance? Because, you know, XYZ PDQ, like, have you guys had problems with Progressive not paying out on claims? You know, those are important questions to ask before you start locking yourself into contracts and signing on dotted lines and paying out big money. Because once you're on that contract, either you got to pay to buy yourself out, or, you know, you're stuck until you've gotten through that first year and can change policy holders, policy carriers, policy providers with no penalty. So, a lot of important questions that need to be asked, a lot of important steps that still need to be taken before I can really just launch into my own thing here. But I wanted to make this video to talk about that because let's assume that the copycat of California's AB 5 regulation goes national in June, which I tried digging up some information on that a couple of nights ago, and I couldn't figure out where things are at with that. So I'm still assuming they're in the public comment period. They're still talking to trucking companies and truckers and trucking associations to really kind of see, you know, where they're at with that. But I'm operating under the assumption still that AB 5 is going national, and that I will have to become an independent owner-operator with my own operating authority, my own insurance, and everything on my shoulders, essentially. Because June's going to be here before we know it, June 2023 that is. And I want to walk into June already established, already on my own authority, already operating, already, you know, with brokers that I have relationships with, hopefully with customers that I have direct relationships with, in order to be able to just not have to worry about any issues that might arise from any sort of regulatory change regarding lease agreements or lease purchase owner-operators. So that's the mindset I'm operating under. That's the way I'm looking at things. And so far, even if AB 5 does not go national, even if the workman's comp policy on my Progressive insurance. I need to ask that question again. I think I may have included it. I really do forget. I'll have to review the quotes I received, and or maybe just go ahead and throw that in there just to have it in case something does happen when I do get hurt and I can't work for a little while. It's just good to have that as a nice fallback. You know, it's something. Plus, also we'll get, you know, add on things like breakdown insurance and maybe some tow insurance. You know, things of that nature that you never want to use, but if you have to use them, you want them to be options available to you, lickety-split. So, a lot of things to do yet. Still got to pick an ELD. Still got to finish my IFTA registration. Still got to get an Elite Pass, so I can get that handy pre-pass for way stations. And of course, toll road access to the vast majority of the nation's toll roads, which is extraordinarily handy. So, stuff to do, places to go, things to haul. Anyway, my friends, thank you very much for joining me on this journey through the mountains in northeastern Utah. Hope you enjoyed the scenery. Hope what I was talking about helped solo owner-operators looking at becoming their true owned entities, or lease purchase operators getting ready to do that. You know, I hope the information I've just spewed out there has been helpful, and I hope that when you go shopping for insurance, if you decide to change to become from a lease agreement or a lease purchase owner-operator to